Hi there. If you're watching this, there's going to be two reasons. One, you're one of my subscribers. Thank you. Or the other option is that you've clicked on one of those links that sits up in the top that at the start of all my videos is going to bring you back to this one, which is going to give you a brief idea of why I have this channel ready and why it's called, which is a little bit of a cliche title, Total Immunology. Let's start with me and who I am. So my name is Ross, and I am a consultant scientist in the NHS in the UK, and I work in a senior team that run a healthcare laboratory in immunology. And I've been doing this for about 15 years. I've been involved in training across multiple universities in the UK and overseas. And I decided that although I created lots and lots of lectures for universities, I hadn't ever tried to move this onto the platform of working in a YouTube environment with shorter, quicker, punchier videos. He says carefully, still talking, to discuss particular questions so that people could, on the bus or just before bed, answer that one question and move on. And if they wanted to, they could cross reference to further information. So the reason I've called it total immunology is because although I work in clinical immunology all the time, fundamental immunology is really important. And the other side of that is also there is lots of techniques and process in the laboratory that we need to be aware of. And I've also been now a senior scientist in the healthcare system for a long time. And I've got lots of experience now about how you manage an environment such as a healthcare laboratory. So I want to go through these various aspects on this channel. They may not be for everyone, but the nice thing is I'm going to try and keep it nice and varied across so that we can see lots of different things. I've got a very simple schematic, which I'm hopeful can just kind of bring across what I'm trying to do. We're going to be covering across these talks fundamental immunology. We're going to be covering clinical immunology. We're going to be trying to look at lab immunology, like I said, which is going to be focusing on particular assays that we do to be able to test things in a lab for healthcare, or it's going to be looking at particular limitations of how potentially we measure things and maybe care pathways. So looking at testing strategies and why we would reflex and not reflex certain things. And the other side of this is going to be lab management, where I'm going to be talking about what makes a lab system work. How do we look at the workflow? What kind of things do we need to use for quality assurance? And how do we regulate this process? And what does the workforce look like? And I'm going to be covering lots of those particular questions as well, which could be useful either for a person who wants to get into this career. It could also be useful for a patient who doesn't always understand necessarily what the labs have as a part of contribute to their care. And that's what I want to also put across, is that I want to be able to give people insight into something that in sometimes in the NHS certainly can be quite a hidden specialty and process. We're going to be going around in that circle, and I'm going to be covering all the different areas. You can see some of the talks that are lined up. Some of these have already been created, some will be created in each of these areas, and we'll be doing introductions. I'm going to be trying to start from the most basic level I can and try to answer questions that I think need to be answered as we go through. I'm pretty sure as I'm creating these talks, there will be more questions that will come through. And I always invite people to write comments into any of the videos to say, what about this? And could we have some questions on this answered? And I will be happy to try and create the videos. As time goes on, what we're going to be doing is once we move out of that introduction area, we're going to be moving into the main content point, and I'm going to be trying to then move into more detail. And there will be splinters off at this point, most likely, where we'll be moving into talking about particular diseases. From the clinical immunology aspect, I want to be focusing on particular conditions that we cover in the immunology area. And then we can drill down into specific diseases. My hope for fundamental immunology is that we will move very slowly towards looking at what is currently coming out. And so that actually, rather than it being something about going back to fundamentals, there will be the whole body of work to talk about the fundamentals, but we can face forward and I can start to bring out the big things that are coming out on a quarterly basis in particular areas so that we can be up to date as much as possible. So that's my aim. That's what I'm hoping to try and achieve with this. Please let me know if you think I'm massively missing the mark or I'm missing something. But as I said, this is designed for everyone. And I really want there to be lots of different types of people seeing this work, whether that be other healthcare professionals who aren't necessarily using immunology every day, people who want to get into the career, people who are very knowledgeable in fundamental immunology but don't have access to the clinical, or the patients or public who are involved or have relatives or themselves have a condition who are eager to know what part or factor does the lab process contribute to their care. I'm really interested to see what types of people will get exposure to this video. Thank you for listening. Short and sharp. Thank you very much. And please look at the other videos that are coming out and join. And as always, comment and like and subscribe to these things to help get them up in the algorithm so that people can see them when they search on YouTube, because that's how the YouTube search engine works. The more popular you are, the easier it is to find it. Thank you.